that Dr. Karinga used was a straw mat. And he called it, now, we need to understand that in doing Kwanzaa, he used the Swahili terms, key Swahili terms. And the reason he used that language because it's a Bantu language, and it's a root language. For instance, if you look at a word that's in Swahili, a word that's in Japanese, a word that's in German, you'll find that the roots are all there. Okay?
Basically the same.
Basically the same. Basically the same. So he used the straw mat, and he called the straw mat mkeka. And the reason he used the straw mat because the straw mat is the foundation from which everything else lies. And that no matter how ragged the straw mat gets, it's still able to support the foundation. That is, and in terms relating to the family, is that because one member of the African-American family is disruptive, does not mean that the whole family is disruptive, because we've been residual and we've been able to exist through all of this period of time. So that's why the straw mat is so important, the cake. Then he used the kinara. Kinara is a candle holder, and it holds 7 candles, which is called the Mishumaha Saba, which is 7 candles, and the 7 candles relate to the 7 principles that should be practiced every day in Guza Saba. Okay? And so you have red, black, and green, which are the equivalent of the Bandera Taifa, or the black flag, and the symbol of the color. And that is that the flag is the symbol of the people. For instance, if you watch one of the old Western movies, and I know if you do, you'll find that the man carrying the flag, he be riding hard, and somebody shoot him, and he fall over, and then you see this big white man ride over and grab the flag and keep going, because the flag don't supposed to touch the ground, because the flag is a symbol of the people. If the flag hit the ground, the people hit the ground. See, so our flag is very significant because of the colors. The colors are significant.
I remember coming up as a child, they used to say, we were in school, kids in school, and taking down the flag in elementary school. Oh, don't let the flag touch the ground.
That's right, that's right. Because that's the symbol of the people, and the people aren't supposed to be on the ground. You understand? And then you have this process, you're never supposed to burn the flag. If you burn the flag, you desecrate the people.
Well, in Spike's new movie, he burned the flag, he burned the X right into the flag.
But that's what I'm saying. So, but you see, in terms of looking at symbols, the symbol of the flag that America called Old Glory, I mean, white folk look at that flag and they say, "Oh, America, America, America," right?
Yeah.
I mean, so that's why it's a symbol. I mean, I can't stress enough how important symbols are in this day and time.
But when they say America, America, they don't mean you and I.
No, we're not Americans. See, that we are not Americans. As soon as we understand that process, we'll be much better off. We're Africans, trapped in America.
I said trapped and trained. In America,
tamed and domesticated in America. I mean, we've been programmed to a degree that we really don't understand what the continent of Africa is all about. But we won't get it at this point, will we? Then the other symbol that Dr. Karinga used was this coin, and the coin is called the muhindi, and the muhindi represents the family or the children. And what's so significant about it? I always pluck a piece off.
Hold it up.
No, I just pluck off one kernel. What's so significant about this in terms of African Americans and families is that you take this kernel of corn and drop it in the ground, get it nurtured good with sun and water. It doesn't produce one kernel. It doesn't produce one ear. It produces a whole stalk, and that stalk represents a nation. So as we look at our family, and particularly our children, each child has the potential of producing a nation. And that's why it's so important that we try to get our children back on the right track. Because there was a time, and I don't know, you're too young for this, but there was a time that every family had at least 14, 20, 25 children in it. Because of the importance of the fact that we know that part of marriage and connecting is procreation. And so that's what Dr. Karinga wanted to get back to, the fact that you had the responsibility for procreation and raising and rearing the children.
So he's not saying everybody should have 25 kids.
No, he's saying that you take the responsibility for those children, and that children are very important. And the other issue that we've gotten away from in terms of our children is that part of our training says our children are our future. Well, there's no future if there's no present. So our children are our present, so that we can have a future. You see how those two equate in terms of symbols?
Yeah, because how could there be the future if we don't have a present?
Exactly.
You got to have the present first in order to get to the future.
Exactly. That's what we've gotten away from, is that in African culture, that the children are always the present. Everything centers around the children. That we don't wait for some osmosis to take place. That they get 18, they're automatically man. If you have not trained them, if you have not given them the proper guidance, he get 18, he's an 18-year-old fool. You see? So that's why Dr. Karinga, in terms of the symbol of the Muhindi, the corn is very, very important. Then the other issue that he talked about in terms of connecting, remember that we're talking about a family holiday, is this process of symbols of Kikombe Child Moja, a unity cup. Now, in our growth and development, we move from one set of families which are biological to another set of families of what people call peers. Well, in terms of that, they're not peers. Those people become family. Communal family. That's because a person then follow directions and guidance of that particular group. The same as they follow direction, guidance of biological parents. When they move to another, what they call a peer group or a new family, they also follow those mandates.
We have to take a break right here, brother, and we're going to be right back in just a minute. I'm Danny Queen. This is Color Me Poetry.